Velez-Mitchell here for The Fix. I think my husband is a sex addict and he's been unfaithful. Should I leave him or try to help him deal with his addiction? Well, I think you may have a codependency issue with your husband because quite often it's the codependent who's addicted to the drama that the addict provides. In other words, an addict can be a pain in the neck and can create all sorts of unnecessary problems, but one thing they rarely are is boring. And sometimes the person who doesn't have that addiction is sort of bored in their own minds when they don't have the swirling drama of the addict around them. So first of all, ask yourself, so you're not just a victim, so that you're just a participant in the situation, is there any part that I have in any of this? Now, if your husband is a sex addict, only he can get himself sober. Nobody else can get anybody sober from whatever addiction is their problem but themselves. So if your husband is a sex addict, there are programs for that. One clue is he behaving like a sex addict? I mean, is he spending a lot of time on the internet looking at internet pornography? That is highly addictive. And in fact, the internet has supersized and supercharged sex addiction because you can experience so much more activity in one weekend on the internet than you could in an entire year in real life. So sex addiction is definitely exponentially progressive when somebody is using the internet. I think that it's a serious situation. You have to protect yourself from disease, obviously, and from emotional trauma. And you owe it to yourself to be with somebody who is faithful to you and with you first and is not putting you off in the corner like some also ran while he engages in sex addiction. It's a very real problem, and millions of American men are sex addicts. So I would get some help in the codependency department. I would research this and find out what the signs are of sex addiction and match it up with his behavior. Is he spending long periods of time off alone with a computer, not letting you look at it? Is he disappearing on a certain day of the week precisely at the same time to go off? Who knows where? And if all this behavior leads you to the conclusion that, I think that there's something going on here, chances are you're not crazy. You can have an intervention and confront him with your evidence. But be careful, because that can be a volatile situation. You'd want to do that with a trained interventionist, not on your own. That's some of my advice for that situation. Velez-Mitchell for The Fix. You can watch me weeknights, 7 p.m. Eastern on HLN.